Good morning, everybody. It is 8:15, July 10th, 2021. It is a Saturday morning. We've got a lot of stuff to cover, and we're going to jump right into it. Harvard MIT quantum computing breakthrough. We are entering a completely new part of the quantum world. This is totally worth reading. I will link the actual article here. It kind of plays in to some of the narrative I've heard, where maybe that could be why China is so willing to let the Bitcoin network go, is maybe because, they unveiled their quantum computer, and maybe they feel like they're about to level up on a couple different fields. I don't know. It's something to definitely keep an eye on, especially when you lean into this type of stuff. What if the next major cyber attack targets the internet? I'm not going to read this, but it is a very good read. It's very interesting. It goes into all the ransomware and all the other things that could happen. Building on that narrative, the FBI is warning crypto owners and exchanges of ongoing attacks. Multiple methods used to ransack crypto wallets, including SIM swapping. That is why I tell people do not use the SMS two-factor authentication. That is like a really bad way to go, in my opinion. David Schwartz here says proof of work provides mediocre security and mediocre decentralization at high monetary environmental cost, and that was in response to the Bitcoin Association being made aware of a recent illegal block reorganization attack against the Bitcoin SV network by a malicious actor. We have zero tolerance for any illegal activity and are actively pursuing action. Full statement below, and I will be sure to link this in the video as well. Building off of the Bitcoin thing here, Anthony Pompliano says Monday we changed the game, and DAI says Bitcoin cheeseburgers. Maybe they're upgrading from pizza. Billionaires Peter Thiel and Mike Novogratz will take their crypto exchange idea public via a $9 billion Thomas Farley SPAC. Bullish, a yet-to-be-launched crypto exchange backed by luminaries including Peter Thiel, Alan Howard, and Mike Novogratz announced plans today to go public. It's a big deal. Real big deal. Stuff isn't going anywhere, guys. These guys know what's up. Just received this email from Venmo, which has over 50 million users. Take your crypto journey step by step. Explore different types of crypto and learn how to buy and sell them on Venmo. That is huge, guys. Huge, huge, huge. Visa and 50 crypto platforms to enable cryptocurrency payments at 70 million merchants. That's huge. With more than $1 billion spent on crypto-linked Visa cards in the first half of 2021, Visa is partnering with 50 of the leading crypto platforms to launch card programs that make it easy to convert and spend digital currency at 70 million merchants worldwide. That's a big thing, guys. Oh, I thought that was a link, but it's not. Crypto whales accumulated $2.2 billion in Bitcoin this week, says on-chain analyst. Let's take a look at this chart resembling the net growth of users or entities coming on the Bitcoin network. The growth of new users is now reaching all-time highs, over 50,000 new entities coming on-chain a day. So retail has been buying heavily for weeks now, but we finally got the uptick in whales we were waiting for. There were 17 new whales birthed on the blockchain this week, while at the same time, the overall holdings of whales increased up by 65,500 Bitcoin. So a little bit of hope for you there. I think this thing is just getting started, guys. Here's Brian Brooks talking about some stuff. Let's listen to him.
Listen, we got two big problems going on that we all face as an industry, right? So one problem is very, very powerful incumbents, right? Think about how proud we've all been over the last 6 months to say that we're part of a $2 trillion asset class. Isn't that amazing? $2 trillion asset class. But here's the bad news. The real estate market in America is $15 trillion. The U.S. economy is 5 times that. $2 trillion, not big enough to take on the banking system alone. So you've got a problem of incumbents really wanting to stop this and kill the baby in its crib. And the second thing you've got is the human mind. The human mind has what we call status quo bias. Any deviation from the status quo is seen as super dangerous. So sort of think about it. A year and a half ago, we all put on our masks, and that seemed super scary. Now it seems super scary to take off our masks. Whatever you've been doing seems like the baseline. Don't fall victim to status quo bias. We need people to understand that making make-weight arguments against Bitcoin because it's not where you're used to is like making make-weight arguments that cell phones are going to kill you or that the internet's going to fry your children's brains. Nobody believes that anymore. But they believed it in the first year, and we're still early on. So we need, just to put not too fine a point on it, we need more of your voices talking. Crypto believes that we can go off and build cool stuff and it will get adopted, but we need more people explaining the problems we're solving. Again, that's how I fell down the rabbit hole, is because I spent 20 years working in the problem. So we got to talk about what problems are we solving, which are very, very real. That's when we'll win the argument.
Always great stuff by Brian Brooks. This is just some reminders, guys. The Eurosystem will decide on digital euro project by mid-21. This was October of last year. The Fed plans to unveil digital dollar prototypes in July. This was from March of this year. Great articles. The reason why I bring this up is while we're talking about the digital dollar, right? You see, there's so much going on. They're talking about America's falling behind, Asia's leading away, then Europe, and now you have the BIS wants absolute control via central bank digital currencies, and we're going to let Augusta Carsons tell you about it. Listen to this.
All our analysis on CBDC, in particular for the use of general use, we tend to establish the equivalence with cash, and there is a huge difference there. For example, in cash, we don't know, for example, who's using a $100 bill today. We don't know who is using a 1,000 peso bill today. A key difference with the CBDC is that central bank will have absolute control on the rules and regulations that will determine the use of that expression of central bank liability. And also we will have the technology to enforce that. Those two issues are extremely important, and that makes a huge difference with respect to what cash is.
So there's even talk now that some of these CBDCs could be like semi-programmable to where they would only be able to be spent on, say, like utilities, essential needs, food, stuff like that. So in the event of stimulus or UBI, universal basic income, stuff like that, you're seeing now where these CBDCs are putting a lot more control into these people's hands. The whole libertarian, let's free ourselves movement, man. I think I have to be honest with myself as an adult and just, they're going to gain more control through this whole thing. It's just whether or not we're going to make some money and take advantage of that knowledge. That is not financial advice. That is just my stance. The IMF, World Bank, and BIS champion central bank digital currencies at G20. So they're talking to, top 20 economic bodies in the world, basically. They are really pounding interoperability. We already know about XRP with that. And, there's a lot of interoperability tokens coming out now. That's a real big thing. You'll be seeing that word plenty. It has to all work together seamlessly. You can't have these gaps. The message from CBDCs to payment banks is innovate or die. This is an article that really talks, R3 goes through a lot of it. You should definitely read this. It's a great article. Ripple's jumping into the NFT world. I think it would be huge. Not only is this backed by Mark Cuban with Mintable, but unlike Ether, you won't have gas fees, so the prices to buy and sell and trade NFTs will be next to nothing, which I think will be huge for both the creators and the collectors. We will get back to the digital dollar thing. I kind of lost track of that, but it's coming. We'll get back to that in just a second. This is James Fallon says this is an orchestrated power play by Gensler, Senator Warren, and the SEC to outflank the CFTC for control of the crypto space. Senator Warren gave Gensler every opportunity to say the SEC must control things. The only thing she didn't ask him is if he wanted a puppy. And they're referring to the letter that she sent demanding an answer by the 28th. I think there's going to be some momentum that's going to come into play around that. Just a Flare update. They are currently undergoing completion of security testing and audits. The network will not launch until that process is thoroughly completed. Providing the Flare community with the safest Layer 1 smart contract blockchain platform is our number one priority. They aim for some of the stuff, the distribution and certain elements of the network to be greenlighted in July. Communication is very important. You can contact them on their official Telegram, Discord, or Twitter for the latest updates. Thank you for your patience. I think that's awesome that they're taking their time and making sure they get everything right. So now we'll get back to the digital dollar thing. So here's this Tether narrative that's building, right? And if Tether was to just be proven to be crap and depegged and all this fudge true, it would wreck not only the crypto industry, but potentially, other credit industries. I mean, it could really have massive impacts because people are leveraged all over the place. Listen to what Jim Cramer, who's recently been activated, this guy, he is definitely the voice of others. Like, I don't believe that Jim Cramer's opinions are all his own. I think he is a well-paid man and a well-positioned man, and, the message that needs to be given out is what he does. That's my personal opinion, but I still think he's a very intelligent person, and I listen to him and try to use what he says in his broadcast kind of as like a tool to kind of navigate in my own way. But anyway, listen to what he says here about Tether.
The biggest risk to the cryptocurrency ecosystem right now, so-called stablecoins, are like Tether. These are the ones that are supposed to be pegged to something in the real world, like the US dollar. You probably think they are. Because most cryptocurrencies are too volatile to be used in actual transactions, lots of people swap between Bitcoin and Tether or Ethereum and Tether when they want to do business. I think they're much more like stocks, but people want to claim their currencies. And that's how Tether's become the third largest cryptocurrency. Why is this such a significant risk? Because while Tether's ostensibly pegged to the dollar, it's not like it's sitting on a big pile of greenbacks. Instead, each of these stablecoins is backed by Tether's reserves, and unfortunately, we don't really know what those reserves are, except that they include a ton of commercial paper, short-term loans to unspecified companies in unspecified regions. That's why I raised a bunch of questions about this thing, because we need those answers. I think they have adopted an ill-advised strategy with little transparency. Since then, we've had a lot of developments in the space, but not many answers. Instead, in the last months, lots of important institutions and politicians have started looking into the risks from stablecoins, especially Tether, perhaps at our incessant prompting. I think that's fine, but it's also a step in the right direction. But not enough is being done to fix what many, including some of my Chinese sources, say is a ticking time bomb.
Oh, his Chinese sources. Anyway, so you can see they're about to come after Tether. I'm convinced of it. And simultaneously, as that's all happening, Circle's going public. That's where USDC comes from. They are going full transparent with their disclosures. Our intention is to include greater reserve transparency. They're literally doing everything. Here it says, stablecoins are a more powerful innovation than the closed-loop, wallet garden proprietary types of payment systems in the past, and they deserve a greater degree of transparency. So he's literally going to run an anti-Tether campaign by doing everything the right way, which they should. And what that's going to lead me into is, Brad Kimes at Digital Perspectives made a great point yesterday. He said, I had said to him that it looks like USDC could be positioned to make a move if this Tether thing goes south, which he agreed on. And then in his show, he started talking about how everybody thinks the U.S. is so far behind and all that. Well, what if they just adopt USDC as the main coin for the Fed as far as their stable coin goes, and then they could basically depeg Tether, swap it all out, maybe somehow come in and prop the ecosystem up with the USDC so there isn't some giant collapse, basically save the day. And then on top of that, we all know that Facebook's DIEM, they tell you right here, the DIEM Association, the Switzerland-based, now US-based nonprofit which oversees DIEM's development, is aiming to launch a pilot with a single stablecoin pegged to the US dollar. So they're not trying to compete or anything either. You could immediately have USDC pegged by the Fed, and then Facebook's DIEM pegged by the Fed, and you could leapfrog the entire world and have access to that entire network. I mean, Facebook is huge. If USDC can replace Tether in daily operations, that is even bigger. I mean, it's crazy. So I just wanted to play off of what he said yesterday, and I think there's something brewing right here. There's definitely some smoke. With all that being said, make sure you like the video, drop me a subscribe, hit the notification bell so you get updates when I drop content. Guys, there's plenty of stuff out here since I started this thing. I would love to see these videos all get into at least triple digits. I don't know if any of you are feeling super generous with your time, but it'd be cool if that happened at some point, even though some of these were pretty terrible. I didn't even have a mic. I was recording on my Beats by Dre because that's all I had, but Anyway, maybe we'll do a comparison video. My father-in-law was just talking about how much better my videos have gotten, so maybe we'll do a comparison video just for laughs here sometime soon. You can follow me on Twitter, which would be much appreciated. I need to get that following going as well. And if you're not on Twitter and you are on Facebook, I do have a private Facebook group that you can join right here. You'll have to send me a request or whatever. I pretty much approve all of them. I just kept it private so it doesn't get spammed out. It's pretty quiet in there, to be honest. We could use some people that are active, that have stuff to contribute. I would love that. And yeah, with that, guys, I'm going to go. I have to work today. Yeah, I didn't get a video out yesterday because it was my daughter's first birthday. And yeah, I'm going to try to get another video out tonight. Take it easy, guys.